Hey guys, I'm trainer Amy Jo with 𝐷𝐈𝐓𝐸 for Women, and today our video is focusing on how to lose arm fat. I have some tips, I have some exercises, and let's discuss it. Join me. All right, so losing arm fat. We all know that you cannot spot reduce. Spot reducing is when you want to focus on just one area to reduce the fat there by doing lots of crunches to reduce your belly fat, or doing lots of leg extensions or lunges just to reduce the fat on your legs. Well, number one, genetics rule all. So you understand that the way that you lose body fat is the way you're always going to lose body fat. So nature versus nurture, right? So obviously how you were born and the genetic traits that you have dictate how you lose body fat. So everyone is different, and so that's where we get into, well, I want my arms to be leaner. Well, that's probably an area where you tend to hold on to body fat more than other areas, and somebody else might have a different part that yours is leaner than theirs. So the one thing that you can do is focus on lowering your body fat altogether, just because that's really where you're going to get the leanness that you're after. So nutrition is key, but also weight training is key as well, because the more muscle mass that you have, number one, dictates metabolism and also can help you to reduce body fat. But also, if you do have an area that you want to even maybe appear leaner, well, a straighter muscle versus an area that has a little more muscle mass and curve and shape to it, that's going to look a little bit leaner, even if they're both the same body fat percentage. So adding muscle mass to that exact area can also help it appear leaner, because you have more shape there than it just being, let's say, straight up and down. So that's why lifting heavy is important. So you want leaner arms. Yes, we want to reduce body fat, but in the meantime, while you're maybe working on that, be sure to lift heavy so you can add more shape to the bicep and the tricep. So a few of my exercises that are real simple, and we all know them to be true, but honestly, I think a lot of us don't go as heavy as we could. So if you're not lifting heavy enough, you're not going to increase strength, which means if you don't increase strength, you're not increasing your muscle mass. So therefore, you're just spinning your wheels. So making sure that even on a seated one, you want to feel like you can get to 8 to 10, and it'd be very difficult for you, because if you're not getting stronger every exercise, every time that you're coming back to the gym to do arms again, then you're not building muscle mass. So these for me, I'm using 20s, are heavy, 8 to 10 for me. And I go nice and slow. You want to be slow on your negative, and positive 1 count up, 2 count down, and I'm getting about 8 to 10 on those. So those seated, number one, you can't swing your body. As if I'm standing up, I can swing and use a little momentum to get the dumbbells up. Being seated ensures that my core has to be strong, but also my biceps have to do all the work. So make sure that you're going heavy enough. And I love doing palms up on the bicep curl, because I feel like it recruits the thickness and the peak versus necessarily your hammer curls. So yes, mix it up, but if you are limited on time, definitely do the traditional palms up, because it's going to hit majority of the bicep heads, the 2 heads. So we'll move on to a tricep one. And this tricep is double the fun. You're going to lay back, you're going to use your plate, and you're going to do a narrow press on these. So elbows are in, narrow press, and then you're going to do a skull crusher or overhead extension, same name, and extend over the head. So this one, same thing. You want to make sure you go heavy enough, 8 to 10. Really isolate the triceps. When you're extending back, think of a hinge on a door, and then elbows in, press up. So 1 press and 1 extension is 1 rep. 8 to 10, make sure it's heavy enough. Elbows in and press. Elbows in and press. And finish with the extension. So those are 2 great exercises. I would do each one 8 to 10, 8 to 10, and then I'd come back around. I'd probably do 4 sets. And if you're serious about really adding some muscle mass in the biceps and triceps, definitely consider adding a second day during the week of hitting those muscle groups, because also the more blood and the more muscle fiber that you're activating multiple times in a week, it's going to pay off. So you want more blood shoved in there. You want those muscle fibers being torn more often. So 2 times a week going that heavy, and not doing too much volume. So making sure that, you know, if I'm doing those heavy exercises, I'm resting in between before I go again, and not doing so much volume that you know, you're not able to actually lift heavier weight. So those are a few of my tips. Remember, no spot reducing, lift heavy weights. If you're not increasing in strength, you're not increasing in muscle mass. Leave us a comment below. Let me know any other questions that you guys have. Hopefully this video was helpful for those of you who want to get leaner arms. Thanks for joining me. I'm trainer Amy Jo. We'll see you next time.